12 numbers that show that we're getting dangerously close to an economic crash as the fall of 2022 approaches. Let's remember yesterday the Dow fell 1,200 points. The US stock exchanges fell about 4 to 5% just yesterday. Now, many believe that what is ahead will be even worse. Michael Schneider writes, "You have heard me say it over and over again. What we're witnessing right now reminds me so much of 2008, and we all remember what happened in the fall of 2008. That does not mean that this new crisis will unfold exactly the same way that the last one did. Ultimately, every economic downturn is unique, but the fact that we are seeing so many parallels between what's transpiring now and what transpired 14 years ago should deeply alarm all of us. We appear to be on the precipice of another economic crash, and all of the solutions that our leaders give us just seem to make things even worse. Hopefully someone out there can find a way to pull a miracle out of a hat and a worst case scenario can be averted. But I wouldn't count on that happening. The following are 12 numbers that show that we're getting dangerously close to an economic crash as the fall of 2022 approaches. Number 1, the government is telling us that the unemployment rate only went up to 3.7% in August. According to John Williams of shadowstats.com, if honest numbers were being used, the real rate of unemployment in the United States would be over 24%. Number 3, about half of all U.S. companies say that they will be eliminating jobs within the next 12 months. Number 4, the government is telling us that the inflation rate in the United States is only 8.5%. Number 5, according to John Williams of ShadowStats, if the rate of inflation was still calculated the way that it was back in 1980, the real rate of inflation would be somewhere around 17% right now. That's worse than anything that we experienced during the Jimmy Carter era. Number 6, at one company, the number of Americans taking out short-term loans for groceries has nearly doubled this year. Number 7, 1 out of every 5 home sellers in the United States dropped their asking price last month. This is more evidence that home prices are starting to rapidly move in a downward direction. Number 8, sales of previously owned homes were about 20% lower this July than they were last July. Number 9, one recent survey found that 3.8 million Americans believe that they could be evicted from their homes within the next 2 months. Number 10, according to the National Energy Assistance Directors Association, approximately 20 million U.S. households are currently behind on their utility bills. Number 11, the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 3 weeks in a row, and it fell 1,200 points yesterday. We also witnessed this sort of gradual slide just prior to the big crash of 2008. Number 12, in August, a whopping 2,150 corporate executives sold off shares in their companies. They're trying to cash in while they still can. Of course, before their shares drop in value, obviously. Gustavo Arnal was one of the corporate executives that recently sold off large amounts of stock, and now he's gone. He's no longer living among us. The man who jumped from his death from the 18th floor of the Jenga Tower. He reportedly sold over 42,000 shares in the company, oft identified as a meme stock, for $1 million just over 2 weeks ago. And it appears that Arnal was involved in a pump and dump scheme. Now, the executive vice president, chief financial officer of Bed & Bath & Beyond did this in New York City skyscraper. And sadly, I think we'll see quite a few more people doing things that are out of the ordinary. Of course, most Americans would never do such a thing. Most Americans will just suffer through whatever comes, even as their standard of living is being systematically destroyed. For example, CNN recently interviewed one young mother that could not even afford to buy a backpack for her preschooler. As Sarah Longmore finished her back-to-school shopping, the mother of 5 looked at the $25 backpack for her preschooler. Soaring inflation had crunched the family's budget, and she decided her daughter could make do with a hand-me-down. She put the backpack back. And unfortunately, she's not alone. In fact, one recent poll found that only 36% of all parents will, quote, be able to pay for everything their kids need this school year, end quote. Just 36% of parents said they would be able to pay for everything their kids need this school year. according to Morning Consult's annual back-to-back school shopping report. That's down sharply from 52% in 2021, when inflation was lower and stimulus checks plus advanced child tax credit payments helped some families. Are things really this bad already? If so, what will conditions look like 6 months or a year from now? In 2023 is less than 4 months away, and the stage has been set for an economic implosion of absolutely epic proportions. Do you remember the extreme pain that our nation went through in 2008 and 2009? Many believe that what is ahead will be even worse. The greatest debt bubble in the history of the world is starting to burst, and central banks all over the globe are starting to panic. If you always wanted to live in interesting times, you are getting to get your wish. But for most people, the times that we're moving into will not be fun at all. Views expressed in the article are opinions of the author and do not necessarily reflect the views of Collective Spark. And this is by Michael Schneider. He says, my name is Michael Schneider, and my brand new book entitled 7-Year Apocalypse is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 5 others that are available on Amazon: Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, Get Prepared Now, and Living a Life That Really Matters. By purchasing the books, you help to support the work that my wife and I are doing, and by giving it to others, you help to multiply the impact that we're having on people all over the globe. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News. And the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely, happily allow others to republish my articles on their websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and researchers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is a great help. During these very challenging times, people will need hope more than ever before, and it's our goal to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with as many people as we possibly can. And this is on Collective Spark by Michael Schneider. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.